business.
Just keep plugging along.
I'm going to teach you how to do that today.
I love it. I'm so excited. I know we have a lot of coaches who are going to catch the recording because of work.
Yeah, for sure.
But
totally not your normal time. So
no, it's all good. You know, it's weird with our team, actually. It's so odd to have morning calls because they're usually Wednesdays at 9. But we have more people who are able to make it in the morning than in the evenings. I remember we tried Thursday evenings and it was like ghost town. Nobody showed up because everyone like a lot of us have families, and so evening time is the hardest.
It's hard. Yeah. Dinner time, bath time, believe me. Yeah. All the things.
You know.
I'm a one-man show most of the time. I know. I'm like, wait, let me turn the video off so you guys don't see my kids in the tub. You know?
I have like 75% of my YouTube videos. I'm like literally nursing a baby or they're crawling over me. But that's the beauty of this business, right?
Mom life all the way.
We can't.
Absolutely.
We don't have to go to work somewhere else and have someone else raise our kids. I'm so thankful for that. So, all right. Yeah. Well, welcome to this call, you guys. I'm so thankful and excited Catrina is taking time out of her busy day to be with us. I asked her on here to kind of share a little bit with us about her story. You guys read all of her accomplishments. She's 2-time elite as of this last year. I'm so proud of you. It's so amazing. It's so cool because I get to be, Catrina and I are on the same corporate mastermind call every week. And so it's fun. We actually met, my brain can't comprehend. Was it last year or in January or the year before?
It was last year. Not this last January, but January before. New Year's Summit, 2019.
19. So a year ago.
Yeah.
We met in Portland a year ago at Crazy Vito Lafata's Italian Mafia Man. At his
love him.
He's hilarious and crazy and brilliant all at the same time. But we met there, and it's just been so cool to get to know her more and watch her just grow and flourish. And it's such an inspiration to me. And what I love about her story, and I'm excited for her to share with us, is with our team, like we're all, the majority of us, Megan's a perfect example right now, always multitasking, right? We're always, a lot of us have kids or other jobs or both and have hard stuff come, and this is life. We all have hard stuff that comes up, and most coaches that I see stop their business when life gets hard. And then it's really hard to pick up your momentum again. And it's really hard. You struggle with confidence. You struggle with, can I do this? Am I cut out for this? I feel like this is too hard. I don't know if I have what it takes. And so it's really inspiring to hear. Catrina's been a coach for almost 6 years, right? No?
Yeah.
Almost
March.
6 years in March. And, lived a lot of life in that time. And she's been a mom and a wife the whole time. And anyways, I'll let her tell her story, but I want you to feel encouraged and walk away with some kind of tactics and tips for how you too can do this. Because like she said, if she can do it, anyone can. And that's the beauty of these stories. Like I feel the same way. If I could grow this business while in prison and having kids at home, like you could do it too. It's just finding that necessity within you and that belief and knowing that you can and having those tactical tips for how to do it. So with that being said, Catrina, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yay! Well, first of all, thank you, Jess, because I look up to Jessica like nobody's business. So to speak on her team call is actually a huge honor of mine. No matter the rank, no matter what is going on in the background, honestly, you guys, you have a fearless leader, and dive into that, pour into her, because she is truly amazing and she just has this fire. Like, honestly, I've cut it across the room at Vito's Crazy Summit, and there was a lot of people in that room, but Jessica's light just shines. So thank her every day for what she does for you as your leader. Also, housekeeping, I want to apologize for those of you last week who I was supposed to be on. I wrote down 5 p.m., but it is a prime example. I'm like, people are going to think we staged this, because it's a prime example of how working this business in the pockets of your day can create the most amazing freedom for your life. So a little bit about me. yes, I'm a 2-time elite, I'm a 5-star diamond, I'm all those things. But first off, I'm a mom. Second of all, I'm a wife to a lineman for, I don't, you guys are mostly California, for PG&E, our municipality, our power company. And so he is gone when fires happen, rain happens, everything. Like, he just got back after being gone since Super Saturday in time for me to literally leave the country on a trek for fresh water. I'm bringing water to villages in the Dominican Republic because I feel like I need to do that. Timing could not be more crazy, but that's how I roll. Okay. So how I got into Beachbody was simply crazy. I was always an athlete growing up, a gym rat, and I had my first son, and I had a whole bunch of different things going on with my health. And my doctor told me it would be really, really beneficial if I got into a regimen. Granted, my husband's gone all the time. I now have a newborn, and I'm hitting the gym every single day for an hour, 6 days a week, finding a babysitter to make this happen because my health depended on it. Well, one day I showed up to the gym and the door was literally closed with a sign on it saying, "We are closed indefinitely. They raised our rent. We're not coming back," kind of thing. I felt like someone died. I cried. Seriously, that was a Friday. I spent the whole weekend like, I don't even know where my kid was because I was like, what am I going to do without my gym? This was prescribed. Like, how am I going to deal with my health in this situation? And I just so happened to also be a full-time photographer at the time with a studio storefront, a premier wedding photographer in Northern California, like worked 12 weekends straight all summer. And working a studio, I was also in the studio 8 to 5 every single day with my little one. So very busy, crazy. And one of my photo clients came in and she's like, "You don't look yourself." Oh my God, my gym closed. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, my doctor prescribed this. He told me to eat clean, like all these things. How am I going to do this? And she was like, "Why don't you do the 21-day fix? I just signed up last week. I love it." And I was like, one, I will never work out in front of my TV. Nope, not me. I'm a box person. And two, I will not eat out of pretty cute containers, and I can make my own protein shake. Adamantly no, right? So she says, "Well, think about it. If you decide to do it, I mean, what else are you going to do?" Granted, I live in a town with one stoplight, like horrible internet service. Like, I'm at my in-laws right now to make sure this went legit. So I was like, this was DVD days, so it didn't even matter. But I was like, seriously, the one gym we had closed. Like, what were you going to do, right? So I keep seeing infomercials on TV, and yeah, I called her up and I said, it's Melissa Gallimay, by the way, if any of you know her. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to give this a try." And she said, "Oh, great. You should totally sign up as a discount coach. You don't have to do anything, but if you sign up as a discount, you save money." I'm like, "Coach, I don't like that word. And they want my social? You're out of your mind." And she said, "No, you should really just try it. You don't have to sell anything." And I'm like, this is the biggest Ponzi pyramid scheme I've ever heard of. Now you're telling me this is a great way to get involved into something I don't even want in part of, but I was going to give it a try and help you out. Oh my gosh, my wheels are turning. So I buy just the discs, right? Not even going to try the Shakeology crap. I was like way overpriced. I knew how to do it. I knew it all. I had my own answers. Within 24 hours, I called customer service and said, "I'm going to do it all. Just sign me up as a coach, add the Shako, make it all before you ship it. I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go 100%. So let's prove this whole shindig wrong and get on with the way to say I tried it." Okay. So 2 rounds of 21-day fix later, drinking my shake, continued on the next shipment, loved every minute of it, went into Body Beast, did all his supplements. Never going to work out in front of my TV. I'm that girl. Never going to sell it. I told Melissa, "You asked me to sell this," because people started coming to me asking what I was doing. "What are you doing? You look amazing. Your skin, your hair, blah, blah, blah. You're a new mom. How are you getting to the gym? Where's your gym? What's going on?" All the questions. And so I started sending people to Melissa because I was like, "I'm a full-time photographer. I don't have time for this." She's like, "No, sign them up. Sign them up." Well, long of the short of it, the girl who said she wouldn't do it, not drink the shake, not all of it, no, sell it, asked me to sell it and I'll quit, were my exact, she still uses it everywhere we go. That was my line, is now her 5-star diamond underneath her. Like, we work our business together. We co-run Tenaciously Fierce, and said the girl that would not even be a discount coach. Remember, okay? Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't even judge a book by what they say, because they don't know what they're talking about until they try this product and fall in love with it, you guys. Because believe me, I knew it all coming into it, And I have my personal trainers, like everything. There was no inkling that I would do this business. And I was her diamond in the rough because she did not hold back and was like, girl, I just think you need the community. Like, your husband's gone. Who do you talk to at night? Whatever. Like, you might need a few girlfriends that aren't, you know, if you guys know Melissa, she, you know, a lot of my girlfriends were drinking, and just, that was what they did on Wednesday nights. Like, we get together and drink bottles of wine and watch The Bachelor. That wasn't my jam. Like, I'm all health and fitness oriented, and it just, total transformation of life. Not just in my own mental capacity, right? That I could do this, because I totally believed I couldn't, but that everything started to fall into place, my fitness, my health, and then my business. So the first year, I'm just going to fast forward. There's of course 1,000 pieces in 6 years, but I'm going to fast forward to the first year I hit elite, because Jessica gave me some things she really wanted me to hit on. And I have to tell you guys that the first year I hit elite, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. So I actually did that from his hospital room. I spent 18 months in the cancer ward at UC Davis. And I don't tell you guys this, like, I got into this for a health scare, and I don't tell you this part of my story. I don't even verbalize it a lot, but it was because when it gets hard, that's when you lean in. The only thing that I had control of in those 18 months of my life, like literally, it caused a major stress on my marriage. I was away from my children. 18 months with I had my second son by then with a newborn, was extremely hard on my family. I'm the rock. Well, I had to be pretty much uprooted into a whole new environment of the hospital. I had to be a rock for my mom. I have 2 crazy sisters that everyone's like, let's keep the sane one in the room with you know, the patient. So not crazy like that, but they're just too many cooks in the kitchen. So the only thing in my life I had control of, because literally I felt like everything else was spiraling out of control, was my business. And I tell you that you have to lean in when things get hard, because every single day when I showed up to run the stairwells, I worked out every single day. I did the ultimate reset in that time. To check in with my team was my saving grace, y'all. I mean, without them, without Beachbody, I don't know that any of us would have made it through those trying times. He had an 13-pound tumor removed, 18-hour surgery, and 21 months of radiation. So you can imagine how much of a toll this took on everything. Meanwhile, my husband is working 9 hours away and has no idea where our children are or what I'm doing in the hospital. So when I tell you guys, because I'm going to preach consistency, I mean, I don't know how much time we have on this call, because I could probably go all day, but consistency, you guys, if you are not showing up every single day in your business, let's throw that one to the wayside, because that, if you want this, you will show up for that. But it's 2-part, right? Like, you have to show up, one, in your workout. I ask my girls every single day when they tell me business just isn't going, or it's a slow month, and I'm like, what workout program are you doing? And I got that from Danielle Natoni. We all love her, right? Well, I'm kind of dabbling. I'm in between bar. I do a little bit of bar. I do a little bit of 21-day fix. No, girlfriend, you commit. Because if you're committed to your workout and your nutrition and your regimen, your people will too. And you have to realize, like, other than us on social media day in and day out, not everybody does that. So if one day you're like, boom, I'm doing this program, somebody might not see that, and then the next day they see you doing another program and they're just confused. You have to have consistency throughout both parts of this journey. Number one, your fitness, your nutrition, all of that has to be buttoned up. I get up at 4:30 every single day to knock that workout out. It sounds insane, but it's the only time I have to do it so that I can continue on with the rest of my life, because I can't guarantee what will happen from 8 to 8 the rest of the day. So in order for me to have control and be consistent, that happens at 4:30 in the morning. No excuses. I do whatever it takes to keep that consistent. And so it follows suit in your business. If not everybody's jam is doing an energized dance party, but if that's your trademark and you're getting up every morning and doing an energized dance party, you better not miss a day. Like, pick what you're going to be consistent in. Maybe it is posting your shake every day. Maybe it is your healthy meals. Like, I'm talking on your stories, right? So if whatever you're doing consistently every single day, don't skip. keep it your brand, keep it your mark, because the day, it's so cool when you finally get an amazing following. I skipped a day. I don't even know what was going on. I did it. I just didn't post it. And I had 7 messages. Girl, are you all right? You didn't post your workout. You didn't post your energize. I'm like, you people are cray. Okay. But they're following me. They're in tune to what's going on. They want a piece of that. They want to be part of that. So if you continue to do it, they're going to follow suit with it too and want that too. Okay. So lean in. When times get tough, that is when you need to show up, because believe it or not, guys, that's when you need this community and you need this more than anybody else. When it gets so crazy that you're like, I don't know what today's going to hold. I don't even know what I ate yesterday. Like, that's how crazy my life was. And that's when I leaned in, and I got that elite call, literally holding my dad's hand in the hospital. I have never been more rewarded in that moment for the hard work I did. I only worked when he slept, which was a lot with radiation, but every waking moment he was awake, I was with him and present. And that's when the fuel for this business took fire, because I decided, if I can work in pockets of the day while the kids are at gymnastics or karate or dirt biking or whatever, or, my dad happened to be sick at the time, if I can work when he's just sleeping, think about the possibilities that will unlock. And you guys, that's exactly what it did. Last January, after Vito's amazing New Year's summit, I made a decision. I drew a line in the sand and I said, I will no longer. It was actually October that I went through. I was going to try to leave some parts out, but they all just flow together. Mason got his first cavity, my youngest son. I had to put him under the gas. It freaked me out. I've never had a cavity in my life. I didn't know what we were getting into. And I had to drop him with a babysitter to get to a photo shoot. And I cried the whole way. And I told myself, this is not why I became self-employed. And Vito said something that very next January. It was, either you're either an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, or you own a business. They're 2 different things. And I'm like, that's me. I own a business. I run a business. Yes, I'm self-employed, but I am not free. A bride tells me what time to show up. She tells me how many hours I'll work, and she tells me when I can leave. That is not okay. When I dropped that little guy off with a babysitter and I was a mess to go do sports photos, I was like, do I care about these football players? No. Do I want to be home cuddling my baby? Yes. And I literally drew a line in that sand and said, January, I will retire this business. I will close my studio storefront, and I don't care what it takes and how much money I have to make. I mean, you guys, I made a very decent income as a wedding photographer, an amazing income. And I said, how do I do it? What does it take? I've been elite. I've been 5-star. I've seen the growth. And Vito taught me. And at that, we learned placement. At that, we learned so much that I dug into this business. And my why has changed so many times, right? It started with a health scare, and then it continued to roll. And this time my why is I'm not going to share my children. I'm not going to pawn them off. That's what I felt on someone else, because I had to go fulfill someone else's, photo slip. That's ridiculous. That is not self-employed. That is not freedom, and not what I started 15 years in the industry as a photographer. That was not why I opened a studio ever, was to have someone else tell me what I could do with my time and dictate my time. Okay. I did not pay rent on a studio. I did not do all the schooling and all the business degrees to do that. I did that to have freedom, and it was the exact opposite of what I had. So yes, to say my life was busy, it didn't matter. I continued that summer of literally 12 weekends away at weddings. And I told myself, and I got up early, I stayed up late, and I made it happen. I grew my business to where I have 6 diamonds on my weak leg, so strong that everyone's like, that's a runaway volume leg. You'll never match it. Well, with 10 diamonds, I match it. So don't you think that's my goal? I don't care about the white jacket for 15-star, not until I have 10 diamonds on my weak leg, because that's $200,000 a year. Insert income disclosure everywhere, okay? At the end of the day, I don't care what my rank is. I don't care what my Success Club numbers are. I don't care about what any of that is, as long as I am giving the whole me to my family. And what that means is I work 4 to 5 hours on my business, and I am full-time mom, full-time daughter, full-time whatever everybody needs me to be in order to make it happen. So yes, in the beginning, let's go back to Emerald because Success Club is the foundation of the business. I told you now, yes, that those numbers don't matter to me, but I'm going to tell you why and how a limiting belief got rid of all of that and allowed me to live and work in the present moment and grow a business. Okay. So Success Club. My coaches ask me all the time, how, oh my gosh, it's 3 people. How do you do that? I'm like, no, Success Club 10, non-negotiable, by the 10th. They're like mind blown. Girl, back it up. And I'm like, no, you back it up. Because at the end of the day, every single person I know and I come in contact with, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, I don't give a hell, needs our product in their living room. I don't care if they CrossFit. They need Shakeology. I don't care if they're marathon runners. They need yoga. They need Amalia Caesar. That's what they need, you know? So you have to flip the script and look at it as like, how am I with a serving attitude? How can I serve this person who only CrossFits, who drinks Plexus? Hopefully this doesn't go too bad on the internet because I'm sorry, you guys, you have to help educate your person in front of you, the person you're catching their attention. I educate my people all the time and I get a lot of their users because I'm like, this is an all natural energizer. Go compare the ingredients that's in yours and we'll chat. Okay. So Success Club is huge. Once you start looking at it, forget the number rubric. Okay. 10, 5, 4, whatever. Forget that and start thinking about how I can help this person. Because when you have 200 followers, 300 followers, if all of them are not one of your clients, you've got a new goal. Because I can tell you every single person needs this for a different reason. When I took the matrix out of it and I was like, you know what? This month, I'm just going to help as many people as I can. I didn't give myself that line in the sand of like, this has to be Success Club 6. I started treating people like numbers and that was not my jam. I don't want to take the joy out of what I'm doing. So I poured in, asked for referrals, you guys. Get that one girl, like I literally have had 3 clients lose 80 to 100 pounds and I work with them. And then guess what? They're like, oh girl, my girlfriend Catrina, she got me going on this. And the next thing I know, she's handing me 3 people. And I'm like, no, girlfriend, you got to sign up as a coach and get those people underneath you. Like it's the domino effect. But when you pour into the people, just start pouring your heart and soul into the people. Like I go back every day to the challenger I was when I first started. I was broken. I had my gym closed. Like I needed this opportunity in ways I never knew. I never had a sense of community. Like seriously, I never had girlfriends in high school other than like my soccer team. They were forced to be friends with me. That sounds horrible. But you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I didn't enjoy sleepovers and painting fingernails and that kind of stuff. So I never had it until I had this community of like, these women love me and support me, and men too. I have a lot of men on my team that no matter what I'm doing, no matter what craziness is happening, like one of my girls on my team's like, well, when you get back from the Amazon, I'm like, I'm not going to the Amazon. I'm literally just going, it's the highest peak of the Caribbean, but thanks. Someone else said when she gets back from China, they just support my craziness, right? And so it's because I never looked at them as a number. I never looked at them as like, I want to help them and I want to introduce this into their life because it gets me a free luggage bag. I looked at it as like, girl, you drink a lot, you smoke, whatever. Like this is an extreme, but this is my sister. Why don't you work out with me for 21 days? I'll even give you a couple of shakes and try it. And now she's a 6-pack. She does not drink. She does not smoke. Like life changing. So I have to tell you guys, like, I don't look at it as like, I have to hit this matrix. I look at it as like, you need this for X, Y, and Z reasons, and you need this for, A, B, and C. And the more you look at it like that, it's like you're crushing that glass ceiling and that limiting belief of what precedent is set. Just start looking at people as why they need it. Go back to your why every day. Because like I said, mine's changed. I'm like, I can't really get in much better shape. I mean, yeah, I could lose a few pounds here and there, but I'm back to my 6-pack abs or whatever. But I'm like, I need this for community. How many other women out there need the community? How many other women out there do need the workouts? How many other women out there need the nutrition because they're on the go and they're not feeling their body? There are so many different pieces to our solution that it appeals to everyone. So before putting Success Club out there on a on a banner, start looking at the person as why they need this. Okay. So I teach my team that all the time, that just everybody needs this. And the more you show up, they're going to want to show up. So your consistency has to come with that. Okay. So another thing, because I'm going to talk about mindset and limiting beliefs, which is my total jam, but I could totally use a whole hour for that. I'm going to use that for last, because I don't want to take up your guys' whole day. I don't even know what time it is. But, I want to talk to you because Jess asked me about hindsight on my tips for hitting elite last year. So I'm going to go into this with a super honest engine of how elite happened. Yes, it's work, and it takes a lot, and it does take a team effort to make it happen. I mean, I couldn't have done it without my team. They all had to hold diamond for 6 weeks, fallen or non. Like it takes a lot. But I never started the year before thinking I wanted elite. You guys heard me. I was building strictly for income. I wanted all 6 diamonds on that other leg, on my weak leg. And that was my jam. Like, I needed to replace the income because I was not willing to go back to a grueling wedding photographer schedule. So yes, how does that happen? Well, consistency, we have to go back to that. But I also had to cast that vision to my team. There was no way. I mean, you guys have probably heard Liz Hartke talk about it, and her speech and overall vision is so freaking powerful. Mine does not stand a hair to the flame, okay? But I'm going to tell you that when I told the girls, you guys, I get a little emotional, sorry. My husband works out of town 98 freaking % of the time. I have to be the dependable parent. And the only way I can do that is if I have this business. Dang, sorry. I'm like, whew. So I told my girls, like, and I had 2 guys in there too. One's my brother-in-law, so he totally gets it. He's a dad of twins, and he's like, how can I help you build it? Like, you've got to be there for the kiddos. But once I started talking about that deep of a why, because I'm a super, like, hermit. I don't talk about my personal life. I don't post my personal life on social media, all that stuff. Like, I have a really hard time communicating my why. I always have. We all struggle with different things. And mine was like, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I don't want the pity. So we hit our first time elite was 2015. And I literally think that was just because I didn't sleep and I worked all the time. But the next time was because I told them, it's not so much about elite, guys. Like, if that happens because we're so close in points, let's do it and let's hold it. But I've got to do it for income, and I've got to advance those 2 new diamonds, and I've got to hit Success Club, and you guys have to too, because this is all based on volume. And if I can become the dependable parent that no matter what, if the school calls, I'm not having to call a grandparent or an aunt, that my physical being can be there for my child, school, daycare, whatever we're doing, right? I have to be that person, and I have to do everything in my power to make it happen. And it wasn't until I said, guys, this may sound so out of the world to you guys, but what if, because Brad, my husband, works his business as well. He's a diamond. He makes my 6th diamond. He wasn't even in my radar. I just bought the plot, we call it, and it wasn't an investment property until this last year. And yes, we've fallen out of 6-star qualification many times, but I'm not worried about the lifetime rank, you guys. So at the end of it, I said, what if I were to build this business in such a strong foundational way that my husband could come home as a full-time dad? Now, he works for PG&E, so he makes ridiculous amounts of money, but he's gone all the time, and the sacrifice is not legit. Like Christmas, he's missed 4 out of the last 5 Christmases. Valentine's Day, which who cares about that, but first birthdays, like things I'm not willing to share anymore, okay? And they were like, what do we need to do to make that happen? I'm like, well, we got to make $200,000 a year. It's almost doubling our income. So I called Sid, my corporate mentor, and I'm like, how do I got to make it happen? She's like, you're so freaking close. It's stupid. You've got 5 diamonds, 4 diamonds on your weak leg. You need 10. So I built those 2 next diamonds right there for 6 on that leg. And you bet your bippy we're going to do 10 this year there, and still 2 on the other side. Then we'll go back and build that side to 5, 6, 10, 15, whatever. But the focus has to be there. You've got to have the very next goal of what it is, guys, because if your why is not conviction, I call it, like, everyone's like, my vision board. I'm like, it's my freaking conviction board. Okay. I've got the travel trailer I want to buy so I can do a cross-country trip on there. And it's the exact one I want, interior and exterior. I drive 45 minutes on a commute to take my kids to the best private school, because that's always been on my vision board or my conviction board. And now I'm like, why wouldn't I buy a house closer to the school? We'll keep my other one. So I've got my second dream home on that board. You guys, you have to create these convictions that are earth-shattering. And I mean that when I tell you there is no other reason why this girl would get up at 4:30 in the morning. I go to bed at 11 at night. But it's because I'm going to do my workout, because that's my consistency. That's something I have control over. And then I'm going to start my business. I get my 1 hour from like 5:30 to 6:30 before I wake the kids up, and then it's go time. You're right. I don't have a whole lot of time until the evening when I put them to bed, which we're doing team calls and all this other stuff. So I get this business done, other than my challenge groups. I put so much work into my challenge groups, and those are throughout the pockets of the day, in 2 solid morning and evening power hours. So if I can do that, you can too. That's where all my inviting, it's a solid 45 minutes of straight inviting. I'm not even joking you. And I do it off my stories. I'm going to add my followers on Instagram and Facebook. Anyone, like 300 people watch my stories, all 300 people will get an invite. I don't care if I invited them 2 days ago. I'm going to say, hey girl, you're still watching? What you doing? Why haven't you jumped in yet? I know you want a part of this. Sometimes I do the little funny eyes and I go, am I scaring you yet? You still haven't responded, you know? And they're like, no, life's just so busy. And I'm like, she's still following me, like, right? She's still watching my story. She's still tuning in. So I have fun with it, you guys. Like, it doesn't have to be this serious. I think we overcomplicate it. I think we get so worried about what people are going to think, or like, yeah, I probably am scaring some of those people, but they're not my people. Like, now on to the next. So just make sure you're growing your Instagram so you have more people to invite, and everything else with that consistency will fall into place. Your Success Club numbers. Get really, really, really convicted on your why. I mean it. Because you guys, I literally stress out leaving the country tomorrow. Like, I leave at 4 a.m. and my husband's gone on storm. So my poor in-laws and my mom, if anything happens with the kids for a week, like, I'm not there. So wouldn't it be rad if my husband was home, contract work when he wants, because he is such a busybody like myself. He will never totally give it up. But it would be rad to be like, you know what, I'm just not going to do work today. I'm contract work. I'll, take a week to help my wife with the kids. Once you have that conviction, and so like the first 4 years of my business, I was like, I don't even have a story. I don't have that conviction, but it's like, what do you really want? Go back to what you really freaking want out of life, and the conviction will come. Okay, so that leads me to my last thing. Sorry if I'm talking crazy. I never watch the chat, so let me know if we got anything. Unmute yourself. I'm totally like casual here. You throw it out there, because this is going to get intense. Maybe we'll do a follow-up call sometime about how to establish, like, identify your limiting belief and how to combat it. I do a lot of trainings with Josh Coates, and I love him. I'm not in his mastermind or any of his groups or any of that. I just do a lot on YouTube and his limiting belief stuff. I love Tony Robbins. I've been to Tony Robbins. I've crewed his events as well. And I'm a huge John Maxwell fan. So if all these names are talking China to you right now, go Google them, because you need them in your life. Yes. So I'm going to go over a few limiting beliefs that we have, because I know when I do this poll on many, many team calls throughout the network, usually the same 3 come back as your limiting belief. So we're just going to go through them right now and get it over with. But so what makes this business work is your mindset. It doesn't matter what you come, shape, form, race, creed, color, any of that does not matter. Has nothing to do with this business. Where the people who are successful find success is in their mindset. And how it all works is what you're telling yourself. So all the time, my girls are like, and my guys, they get upset, but they get it. They just get called babes. They love it. Well, you know, like I ask them, what's your affirmations? What do you tell yourself? Your affirmation. And they're like, oh, you know, I just tell myself like I'm just the best. I'm a badass parent, and I'm a great wife, and I'm a coach. Then there'll be some good ones like I'm a leader of leaders. I'm a 15-star diamond, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, those are all great, but those are just affirmations. Those are just the sugar. Where's the action? What do you mean? And I'm like, the only way an affirmation truly works is when you add an action to the affirmation to equal the result. Now that probably was like a huge word problem for you. So I'm going to dumb it down. Okay. Simplify it, not dumb it down. A great one is time. Every single person, when we're polled, tells me I don't have enough time. So what's the affirmation for time? Oh, I have all the time in the world is usually a good affirmation. I have all this time. I have all this time. Just tell yourself you have time. No, girlfriend. You tell yourself I have the same amount of time as every other person on this planet. And I am going to be intentional with my time today because my business depends on it. That's what I tell myself. When I wake up and I lay in bed and I do my affirmations, I literally tell myself, you have the same amount of time as everyone else in this day. What is your priority, and what is going to be the top 3 things you accomplish in your business today that are income producing? Literally, that is like a whole, I mean, I run it through my head. So I like, you know, when you speed read, you leave words out. But that's essentially what I tell myself every single morning, because I literally have the same amount of time as everybody else, and they do me, right? So what are my 3 things? That's the very next thing I go into with my affirmation. Well, it's to invite. And then it's the crazy things. Like I'm going to work in my challenge group. And today was spend quality time with my kids. It doesn't always have to be business, but it has to be your top priorities. But make sure at least one of them is an income producing activity. Inviting. So I literally sat before I leave the school parking lot, because it's anything that you can stack a habit to. I drop the kids off, I sit in the parking lot, and I send 30 invites. Cannot leave the parking lot until I leave 30 invites every single day. If you are not habit stacking, tie something to your workout. What is something you do every single day? Some people, this is crazy, but some people sit down when they go pee and they're like, this is my time for 10 invites. Because that's when they do it, right? Because it's something that they can't get away from. They do that every day, multiple times a day. Well, I like to just relax during that time, so I'll do it at the school parking lot. But you know, you got me with your habits, okay? So your affirmation has to be tied to an action, and then it will create a result. Don't just blow your own horn, because no one else hears that affirmation anyway. Put it to action. Now, the other one is a limiting belief of leadership, because everyone says, oh, I can't grow a team because I'm not a good leader. I get that. Believe me, I have 6 diamonds now who are still telling me they're not good leaders. Well, what? No, you're leading a team. So I kind of simplify it for them, and I say, no, we're all leaders, because all leadership is teaching. You learn something and you teach it to someone else. That's what a leader does. Okay. You don't, I mean, everyone knows 1 + 1 is 2, and you can teach that to the person next to you. That's leadership, right? We don't get to this hill of like, woo, I'm a leader. Like, it's no destination. It's just go learn something new and share it. That's what leadership is. So don't let that limiting belief ever come into play, because the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is go watch a YouTube video and tell me what it was about. Boom, you're a leader. And I usually give them like a few Josh Coates or John Maxwell videos, okay? The third one, and this one is so crazy, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Don't think I'm like all, you know, I like to use the word hippie, but that's not good on you. But okay, it literally is if you're worthy. And I'm religious, so I can use this metaphor, and I'll use it in a minute. It's kind of funny. But if you do not believe you are worthy, you will miss the success. You guys, it will go so right past you. all because you didn't see it, because you didn't believe you were worthy of it. So my analogy is, there's this big flood. These two guys are standing on the roof of their house, and they're like praying to God to save them. And a helicopter comes by and says, get on, get on. They're like, no, we're praying to God. We're praying to God, he'll save us. So the helicopter's like, whatever, they take off. So they pray and they pray and they pray. And the boat comes by and they're like, get on, hurry. You guys are going to get swallowed up by this flood. And he's like, nope, we're praying that God will save us. So they get to heaven. They meet God at the pearly gates. And they go, I don't get it, man. I believed in you wholeheartedly, and I prayed for you to save us. God's like, hello, I sent you a helicopter and a boat, and you missed both of them. So what I'm telling you with that is, that is like my favorite analogy ever. You have to see it. It has to be part of your vision. You can't say like, oh man, I don't know if I could be a 15-star diamond. I don't know if it takes to lead 600 people into battle, right? No, conviction. Yes, yes, yes. You have to believe that you are worthy of it. You have to see yourself, whether, okay, that's rank. So money is a huge one too, right? Like, I don't know what I would do with 200,000 a year. Like, you know, like that was me, this shy little thing, believe it or not, before this incredible opportunity of like, well, yeah, I guess like my husband would probably retire. I mean, like there was so many shaky points, and it's like, no, absolutely not. We will travel. We will get a tutor. We will, you know, take our kids to see the world. Like whatever it is in your little bubble of what you want, you have to see yourself in that role and know you're worthy of it. Because if you don't honestly believe you're worthy of it, you will miss the success. And I missed it after 2015. I missed it in 2016 because I thought there is no way. I lost my whole team after that first year, down to one diamond. And I just kept saying, there is no way I can rebuild this team. There is no way I can go and build 4 more diamonds. Granted, the first time I went elite, I went diamond to 5-star in 5.5 months. What limiting belief would tell you that I can't do that? I did it once. I was stuck in my own way. So get out of your own way, you guys. Seriously, get out of your own way and believe you are worthy of it. Because if I can do it, if Jessica can do it, if I've seen some, I think I'm a hot mess. I've seen some pretty hot messes do it. Okay. And it's so great if you are a hot mess. It doesn't matter if you're great. I see type A, totally amazingly organized people do it too. Like it's for everyone. Okay. So I just want you to really start thinking about your affirmations and what you're telling yourself. If you don't already do them, start doing them. They were a game changer for me. Like I used to try to do them. This is funny. I used to try to do them before I went to bed. I'd lay there and I'd be like, okay, let's start my affirmations. And I fall asleep. I never get through the third one. So don't, find a good time to do it. Sometimes it's on the drive. A lot of my coaches say they do it on their commute to work. Whatever it is, find a time where you can really make the connection with what they are. And don't just tell yourself, I love the book, You're a Badass, but don't just tell yourself that. Give yourself the action steps of what makes you that. Maybe it's U+2 every single week, going Emerald every single week. We call it U+2 in my downline. Every week, U+2, because that's Emerald Strong. Milan Jensen is one of my mentors, and she teaches it. If you can go Emerald Strong, she's like every week, she's killing it. But let's say you do that every month. You guys think about what that can do. Like, honestly, that is pretty, sorry, I know there's kids. That's pretty bad booty, if you ask me, okay? Like, if you can go Emerald every week, so tie that to it. Don't be vague. Get detailed. Know your worth and lead, because all it is taking whatever I just told you that resonated with you today and go tell 3 people that. Go tell your 2 coaches if you're an Emerald. Shoot, get on a pod in your diamond. If you're pushing for diamond and you've got a few of your coaches or customers, get on there and teach them something I taught you. It's all just recycling of information. That's what leading is. It's learning something and reteaching it. So don't let you ever tell yourself I can never lead a team, because you totally can. Yes, consistency, speak the vision, whatever it is. I don't care if you're a brand new coach. and you're like talking to someone about, I love what I do in this, you know, in this health and fitness industry, and I'm a coach, and my vision is I want to lose 20 pounds, and I want to be able to, you know, pay for my product so I can continue on my journey. Speak that vision with conviction, you guys. That is like everyone's vision in this, on this thing. That's my vision too, the base of it, right? And then Success Club, don't use a rubric. Just go out and see people and their need for the product and what you can tie them to, what solution we have. And if we don't look at them as a number and we start looking them as a why and how we can help them, your numbers will increase. They honestly will. When I let that one go and was like, it doesn't matter. I missed my Success Club 10 streak 2 Octobers ago without ever missing. And I decided that was silly, I'm not doing that anymore. And then I lost my Success Club 5 streak right before, well, that was October, and then November happened. So like 3 years ago. So I just said, I'm not doing that anymore. And for the last 3 years, I've been solely convicted on every single person I talk to. I tie them to why they need this. Community, health, whether it's the workouts or the shake, there's so many components. Just tie them to that. And you'll start to see that number go up. And my last thing on recap is just lean in. No matter how crazy it gets and what's going on, and you're like, I don't even think I can find 5 minutes. No, find 5 minutes, even if it's when you're peeing, and invite and lean into this business. Go all in. I hate it when I hear, I've never actually had one of my own coaches, but like I said, I co-chair a team or whatever you want to call it. And when girls say, life's just so crazy right now, I'm going to take a step back. Girl, this is when you lean in, okay? Do not step back. You know why? You will lose all momentum. If you just hang in there, give your business, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day. Like, we'll take it down to a 10-minute powwow. It doesn't have to be a power hour. And send one invite. Do one story and one post, and just stay alive through this hard time. We'll cover you through this season. We'll help your people that are already on board. We'll team up. We'll keep them accountable. We'll keep you accountable. Do your workout. Lean in. And you'll be so happy you weathered the storm. Because I can tell you, when I see people pull back and say, I'm gonna sit this out, they quit. Because then it's so overwhelming to come back. So don't do that. We're not quitters. This is Team Beachbody. We're all in. We bleed blue. Okay. Do we have any questions?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm sure it was intense.
Did you just apologize for that?
I don't mean to be intense.
10 push-ups. You're not
I know, right?
That was amazing. Like, so much goodness. I just want to, I have a ton of notes, and a couple things that really stuck out to me, and then I'll let you guys ask some questions, was you have always, through every piece of your story, had high necessity. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone on our team has read High Performance Habits, or you're familiar with it, from Brendan Burchard. And he talks about that. Like, we have to have high necessity. And reflection of my business too, I've always had high necessity. For me, it was getting out of prison. Like, that literally, and it's still my necessity, because I don't want to go freaking back. And for you, it was a health scare, and then it shifted. I want to raise my kids, you know, and now it's shifting again to having your husband be able to be home. And that's what wakes you up. And I see so many coaches in our network not ever connect with that necessity. And then it becomes forced because they don't feel it. They don't believe it. They don't feel it. And then they struggle with whether it be invites or posting on social media, because they just don't have that necessity. But you guys, when you have that necessity, you wake up before your alarm clock sometimes. Like, you can't wait to connect with more people. You can't wait to influence people on social media. You can't wait to send invites, because you know that you're going to put in the work to get to where you're wanting to go. And this is a platform. There is not one person in the world that cannot do this. People just don't want it bad enough. And so I love that you shared that. And then I love that you said, every month I'm going to help as many people as I can with an abundance mindset, because I've seen coaches say, I'm just going to help whoever I can, with a lack mindset of, I'm not going to try to hit Success Club. I'll just help the people. I'll just do what I can with that lack mindset of, if I help one person, then that's fine with me. And I wanted to point that out because I've seen people do that. And this is such a different, this is like, I know a lot of us have learned from Kate Schultes too. And it's like, no, I'm going to help as many freaking people as I can this month, whether that's at the grocery store or in Starbucks or in my homeschool group, or it's on Instagram or it's on Facebook or it's on the Twitter. I don't even know if the Twitter is still a thing. Oh, Donald Trump's on there. So it is. Like, go help our president. Maybe he needs Shakeology in his life. Don't let any kind of that of doubt or fear come into your life when you, I just loved that spin that you put on it. And leaning in. I totally agree. I've seen so many coaches quit saying life's too busy right now, or my kids are sick right now, and I love groups because I never want to make anyone feel bad about their circumstances. But the truth is that people have had, like, I love Danielle Natoni and her story of how she started, and she's a bajillionaire, so successful, and she started living in her car. Like, you want to talk about a hard life? None of us have it hard on here compared to some of the people who've been extremely successful with this business. We just unfortunately excuse our way out of our potential because we're afraid. So
it's the limiting belief, which is a lot. All limiting beliefs are the lies we tell ourselves, you guys, because the mind wants to do what is easy and never wants to work for it. Well, you guys, I've never got anything worth having that didn't require work. Exactly. I mean, I hate to be the one that tells you, but it's the true story. Right. And that's when you say abundance, one other thing I want to hit on is like, that is the limiting belief, the scarcity mindset, which is the opposite. Because I look at this world, you guys, we're expanding into other, I'm sure we've talked about this 1,000 times, but like you look at, we're moving into France and we're in the UK, like the more and more I look, I see so many people at the darn grocery store that I'm like, my husband the other day was like, you need to go give that lady your card. She was super negative to the, she was like just talking to another lady and I'm like, we got to handle that later, man. We're on a mission right now. And he's like, no, seriously, she could really use just, a team call, So yes, it's a true story. Like, don't look at the scarcity, look at the abundance, because I do believe every single person on this planet needs what we have. They need it. It's not, they should want it. They need it. And I could give each person probably 7 reasons why. That's a whole nother call. And Jess does a great job of that. I love her presentation. I share it all the time. So yes, do you guys have any questions for me?
Any other questions? I think Rebecca had a question.
Yeah. I was trying to write down the names you said to look at, and I don't think I got one. I had a John. I wrote down Maxwell later, but I'm not sure if that was right.
That's it. John Maxwell. Yeah.
John Maxwell. Tony Robbins. Was it Josh Coates?
Yes, he's a push coach.
T-E-S?
Yes, Josh Coates. And there's no E. C-O, just like coat, S.
No
Coates.
E. Okay.
Coat.
Kate Schultes?
S-A-O-L-T-E-S.
Oh, yeah.
S?
S-C-H-U-L-T-E-S.
She's a Schulte.
Kate's awesome on inviting. For those of you who've been struggling with inviting, she's a boss with inviting. She's taught our whole network inviting tips.
Yes. Yeah, C-O-A-T-S. Sorry, I had to double check.
That was one of my questions for Catrina, thank you for your call. That was awesome, by the way. Kind of your invite. I like to always hear different ways people kind of reach out, or at the grocery store, or,
Yeah. In person tends to be a little bit different because it usually stems from something they've seen like all the time. People, the checker at the grocery store is great because she's always like looking at what's in my cart, right? She's checking through and she's like, are you like vegan? I'm like, no, I just buy organic beef. I buy from a local farmer. But I don't eat a whole lot of meat, chicken kind of wears me out or whatever. Like, sustainable. Like we start the conversation. And then I'm like, have you ever struggled with nutrition? Would you like more tips? Because that's what I do for a living, is I run online health and fitness groups. I actually have a nutrition group coming up that's solely on nutrition. And the next thing they know, they're like, yes. And I hand them a business card. And I run a nutrition group. I run a challenge group, and I'm currently running a Fit Wars. So it's all because January and, the New Year's resolution hype. But so that's usually depends on what they say to me and what my rebuttal is. But I do run a straight portion fix group a majority of the time. That usually will be a 3-month rollover. So no matter where we're at in the group, those people will get added into that group, because all I talk about is what I'm eating. I do a meal plan in there every week. So if they subscribe, they'll get 52 meal plans that include grocery lists and recipes, plus all the videos. I mean, Autumn, don't reinvent the wheel. Autumn's got that jammed for you. So just roll with it. As far as like my virtual invite, okay, I'm just going to read it because, so what I do is I mostly am doing it off of my stories. So I'll put like my energized dance party. I eat time nutrition constantly. So I have a lot of food throughout the day going up on my story. I treat my story kind of like a blog. I do my no snooze crew, because I have many of my girls end up working out at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, because they realize it's the only time as a parent that they can get that done. And I'm just scrolling through here to see my last round of invites. So anyone that watched my story, like yesterday, I had 326 people watch my story. And I put up my new February bar blends going up, right? That was my first one of the day. And then the next one, I start adding people's name to who filled those spots. And I said, hey, sister, I don't know if you've seen, but I just opened enrollment for my February boot camp. You can start as soon as possible with $20 off. Would you want to snag some more deets to see if this is a good fit for you? I saw you liked my last post, so I didn't want to leave you hanging without an invite. And almost every time they're like, this is amazing. How many spots do you have? What are the details? Whatever. And I just write them back with what they essentially get. I try not to word vomit. A lot of times I will talk to them about getting BOD for the 160. Okay, so I kind of flip the script, right? Because the whole challenge pack is $160. So I tell them that's what BOD costs, pretty much. It's $160. And this month you're going to get my superfood shake for free. That makes them be like, what? Free? Okay, right? I'm like, it's normally $130 value. You're going to get that as a total package solution. And even if you hate it, they won't, because then I give them all the recipes and all the goods. But some coaches say not to say that, but I always throw it out with, even if you hate it, you can cancel that and keep the workouts for the rest of the year, no problem. Still access to my groups, whatever. But what happens is when they get in my group, I'm rocking Shakeology. I'm showing them how to make brownies. I'm showing them how to make bars and cookies and cakes. Like literally my husband was like, this chocolate cake. I go, Shako, you're fine. He'll eat it, right? So I'm throwing those recipes out there where I'm like, oh, you don't want to drink a cold shake because it's 26 degrees out here? No worries. Let's have brownies, right? So they see the need. And then I'm also talking about what it's doing for their gut health, for their digestion, for their energy level, all the things. Prebiotics, probiotics, you got it. Adaptogens, and now you guys know this like the back of your hand because Jessica teaches that. But just with that simple invite, I only post one post a day, if that. I utilize my stories. My posts are recycled between Facebook and Instagram because nobody's got time to write a novel. This girl does not. We talked about this. My main power hour is inviting. So I will do a post on Instagram, share it to my fitness page. It automatically shows there. The next day I'll pull it from there, share it on my regular Facebook page, and that's the cycle. Every once in a while, something crazy will be going on with the kids, and I'll just put that on Facebook. But my call to actions, my challenge group invites, all those posts, like on our tracker, they're recycled between the platforms. And then once a week, twice a week, whatever I have time for, I'll go into those posts and I'll send that same darn invite to all the people on that post that liked or commented.
I love
And
it.
I don't mind if you want me to copy and paste or send that to you, that invite, you can have it. I do a little purple heart because it shows up better in your algorithm than to use an emoji that's, you know, the happy face and the red heart. So pick an emoji you like. I like the word, you know, one that's not used a lot. If you throw in an emoji like that on any of your stuff, and people comment back on that, the algorithm then will show up in their story. So that's another little tidbit I learned.
I love it. I'm going to respect your time, Catrina, because we also have to jump on our Jeff Dukes call right now. But for those of you who still have questions, I'm going to, when I upload the recording, just put it in the comments and I can still send them over to Catrina.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But thank you so much for your time. This was incredible. I know we all got a lot of great info. And have a great day, you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.